Hello, and welcome to Simple English Talks. My name is Bella, and today I have a story for you about something that many people want to do but find very difficult to start: running in the morning. This is a story about a woman named Joy. Joy is 30 years old. She lives alone in a small apartment near a park. She has a good job, a comfortable sofa, and a very convincing voice in her head that always finds a good reason not to exercise. This story is called 5 More Minutes. Let us begin. It started with a pair of running shoes. Joy had bought them 3 months ago. They were light blue with white soles. Soles are the bottom parts of shoes. They were the kind of shoes that looked fast even when they were standing still. She had bought them on a Saturday afternoon, feeling motivated and determined. Motivated means full of energy and wanting to do something. Determined means having a strong decision to do something. She had carried them home in a bright paper bag. She had taken them out of the box and placed them by the front door. She had looked at them and felt good about herself. Then she had gone to sit on the sofa. The next morning she woke up and looked at the shoes. The shoes looked back at her. She told herself she would go running tomorrow. Tomorrow she would definitely go. She was just tired today, just this once. This happened for 3 months. The shoes sat by the front door. They were still clean, still perfectly white, still looking fast. They had never been outside. Then one evening, Joy was talking on the phone with her friend Pim. Pim was the kind of person who woke up at 5:30 every morning to run 5 kilometers before work. 5 kilometers is about 3 miles. Pim talked about running the way other people talked about their favorite food, with great enthusiasm and detailed description. Enthusiasm means strong excitement and energy. Detailed description means explaining everything carefully. "This morning was so beautiful," said Pim. "The park was so quiet. Just birds and a few other runners. The air was so fresh. I felt amazing after." Joy looked at her shoes by the door. "I have running shoes," she said. "You have had them for 3 months," said Pim. "You have never worn them." Joy was quiet for a moment. "I am going to go tomorrow," she said. Pim had heard this before. "Okay," she said. "I will believe it when I see it. Come to the park at 6. I will be there." Joy hung up the phone. She looked at the shoes again. "Okay," she said to the shoes. "Tomorrow." She set her alarm for 5:30. She laid out her running clothes on the chair beside her bed. Running clothes are clothes made for exercise. They are light and breathable. Breathable means air can pass through the fabric, which helps you stay cool. She put out her sports socks, her running shorts, and a loose t-shirt. She filled a small water bottle and put it in the refrigerator. She went to bed at 10 o'clock, which was very early for her. She lay in the dark and thought about the morning. She imagined herself running through the park, the cool air, the sound of her feet on the path. She imagined feeling strong and healthy and proud. Proud means feeling good about yourself because you have done something well. She fell asleep feeling like tomorrow was going to be a new beginning. The alarm went off at 5:30. Joy opened one eye. The room was dark. Not completely dark. There was a little gray light coming through the curtains. Curtains are the pieces of fabric that hang over a window. The light meant it was early morning, but the sun was not up yet. Not fully. She closed her eye again. 5 more minutes, she thought. She pressed snooze. Snooze is the button on an alarm that stops it for a few minutes before it rings again. 5 minutes later, the alarm went off again. She pressed snooze again. This happened 3 more times. At 6 o'clock, her phone rang. Not an alarm, an actual call. She looked at the screen. It was Pim. She answered. "I am at the park," said Pim. "Where are you?" Joy sat up very fast. She was suddenly completely awake. "I am coming," she said. "I am almost ready." This was not true. She was in bed in her pajamas, but she jumped out of bed immediately. She grabbed her running clothes from the chair and put them on quickly. Shirt, shorts, socks. She put on the shoes. For the first time, she tied the laces. Laces are the thin strings you thread through the holes in a shoe and tie to hold the shoe on. She grabbed the water bottle from the refrigerator. She splashed water on her face. Splash means to throw water on yourself quickly. She did not have time to do anything else. She was out the door in 4 minutes. Outside, the air was cool and fresh, much cooler than inside the apartment. The street was quiet. Most people were still asleep. A few lights were on in apartment windows. A man was walking a dog slowly down the sidewalk. Sidewalk means the path beside the road for people to walk on. The dog looked up at Joy as she passed. She waved at the dog. The dog did not wave back. She walked quickly toward the park. The park was 2 blocks from her apartment. 2 blocks means 2 sections of street. She could see the trees of the park ahead of her, dark shapes against the pale morning sky. She entered the park through the main gate. Gate means the opening in a fence or wall that you go through. The park was beautiful in the early morning. The grass was still dark with dew. Dew means the small drops of water that form on surfaces outside during the night. They disappear when the sun warms them. The trees were large and still. Still means not moving. The birds were singing everywhere, loud and cheerful. Cheerful means full of happiness and brightness. And there was Pim, standing on the main path wearing bright orange running clothes, looking completely awake and energetic. Energetic means full of energy. "You came," said Pim. She sounded genuinely surprised. "I came," said Joy. She was a little out of breath just from walking quickly. Out of breath means breathing harder than usual because of physical effort. This was not a good sign for what was coming. Pim looked at Joy's shoes. "They are so clean," she said. Joy looked down. They were still perfectly clean. No mud, no marks. Brand new looking. "I know," she said. "Not for long," said Pim cheerfully. "Ready?" Joy looked at the path ahead. It curved gently through the park and disappeared between the trees. It looked peaceful. It also looked long. "Ready," she said in a voice that was slightly less confident than she wanted. They started running. The first 30 seconds felt fine. Joy's legs moved, her arms swung at her sides. The path was smooth and the park was beautiful. She thought, "This is not so bad. This is actually nice. I do not know why I waited 3 months." Then she reached 1 minute and things changed. Her breathing became heavier. Heavier means more difficult, requiring more effort. Her legs felt like they were becoming heavy too. Heavy not in weight, but in effort. Each step required more from her muscles. She could feel her heart beating faster. The heart beats faster during exercise because the body needs more blood moving to the muscles. She looked at Pim. Pim was running beside her at the same pace. Pace means speed. Pim looked completely comfortable. She was breathing normally. She was looking at the trees. She seemed like she could do this all day. Joy looked straight ahead and concentrated on breathing. Concentrated means put all her attention on one thing. At 2 minutes, she wanted to stop. She did not stop. She kept running, but she wanted to. At 3 minutes, she spoke. "Can we walk for a moment?" she said between heavy breaths. Pim looked at her. "Okay," she said simply. No judgment. Judgment means the act of deciding if something is good or bad. She slowed to a walk immediately. Joy slowed too. She breathed, in through the nose, out through the mouth. She had read that this was the correct way to breathe during exercise. In through the nose, which warms and filters the air. Filter means to clean. And out through the mouth to release it quickly. After about a minute of walking, her breathing returned to normal. Her legs felt lighter. "That was 3 minutes," said Pim. "I know," said Joy. "That is a start," said Pim. She was not being unkind. She was being honest, and honest was what Joy needed. They walked for 2 minutes. Then Pim said, "Ready to run again?" Joy looked at the path. She nodded. They ran again. This time, Joy focused not on how far she was going, but on just the next few steps. One step, another step, another. She looked at the ground just ahead of her feet. She listened to the sound of her shoes on the path. A soft, regular rhythm. Rhythm means a regular, repeated pattern of sound or movement. She managed 2 minutes this time before she needed to walk again. "Good," said Pim. "It does not feel good," said Joy. "I am very unfit." Unfit means not in good physical condition. "Everyone starts somewhere," said Pim. "When I first started running, I could not do 1 minute without stopping." "Really?" said Joy. "Really," said Pim. 3 years ago, I could not run to the end of my street. Now I run 10 kilometers on weekends." Joy looked at her. 10 kilometers seemed like an impossible distance right now, but 3 months ago, she would have said 1 minute of running was impossible too, and she had just done 3 minutes, and then 2 more, 5 minutes total. It was not much. But it was 5 more minutes than she had done in her whole life. They continued through the park. Run, walk, run, walk. Each running section was short. Each walking section gave Joy time to recover. Recover means to return to a normal state after effort. But she kept going. She did not sit down on a bench. She did not turn around and go home. She kept moving. The park was waking up around them. More runners appeared on the path. Some were fast, moving with long, smooth strides. Strides means large, confident steps. Some were slow, like Joy, moving carefully and breathing hard. Some were older people walking with determination. Some were young people with headphones in, nodding slightly to their music. Joy noticed a man who was very large and moved slowly, breathing hard, his face red with effort. He was running even more slowly than Joy. But he was running. She watched him pass and felt something unexpected. Not pity. Pity means feeling sorry for someone. But respect. Respect means feeling admiration for someone because of what they are doing. Because he was here, at 6 in the morning, moving his body, doing the difficult thing, just like she was. She ran a little faster for the next section. After 30 minutes of run walking, Pim said, "Should we stop here and stretch?" Stretch means to extend your muscles gently after exercise to prevent them from becoming tight and sore. Sore means painful, usually from muscle effort. They stopped on a flat area of grass near a large tree. The grass was cool and damp under Joy's feet through her thin socks. She could feel the dew. Pim showed her the stretches. First, standing and reaching down toward the toes. Toes are the 5 small parts at the end of the foot. This stretches the back of the legs. The muscles at the back of the leg are called the hamstrings. Joy bent forward and reached. She could not reach her toes. Her fingers stopped at her shins. Shins are the front part of the lower leg. But she held the stretch for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is not long, but it is enough for a start. Next, Pim showed her a stretch for the quadriceps. Quadriceps are the muscles at the front of the upper leg. You stand on one leg, bend the other leg behind you, and hold your ankle. Ankle means the joint where the leg meets the foot, and pull it gently toward your body. Joy wobbled. Wobble means to move unsteadily from side to side. She grabbed a nearby tree for balance. Balance means the ability to stay steady without falling. The tree did not move. Joy steadied herself and held the stretch. They stretched for about 10 minutes in total. By the end, Joy's legs felt less heavy, more relaxed, like the tension had been gently released. Tension means tightness in the muscles. They walked slowly to the park bench and sat down. Joy looked out at the park. The sun was fully up now. The light was warm and golden, coming through the trees at an angle. The dew on the grass was catching the light and sparkling. Sparkling means shining with many small points of light, like stars. She breathed slowly, in and out. "How do you feel?" asked Pim. Joy thought about it honestly. Her legs were tired. Her face was warm and slightly red. Her hair was damp from sweat. Sweat is the liquid your body produces through the skin when you are hot or exercising. Her new shoes had their first marks of dirt on them, small brown marks at the edges from the damp grass. She felt wonderful. "I feel good," she said. "Surprised but good." Pim smiled. "That is the runner's feeling," she said. "You always feel better after than you did before." Joy looked at her shoes, the clean blue shoes that had sat by her door for 3 months, waiting. They were not perfectly clean anymore. They had done their job, for the first time. She felt something she had not expected. She felt proud. Not because she had run a long way. She had run perhaps 1.5 kilometers in total, with many walking breaks. That was not impressive. But she had come. She had gotten out of bed when every part of her wanted to stay under the blanket. She had put on the shoes. She had started. Starting is the hardest part, Pim had once told her. Everything after starting is just continuing. Joy had not understood that before. Now she thought she did. They walked back through the park toward the gate. The park was busy now, full of morning people, mothers pushing babies in strollers. Strollers are small vehicles with wheels that you push to carry a baby. elderly couples walking hand in hand, groups of young people doing exercises on the grass, a man doing Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a slow, graceful Chinese exercise that looks like very slow dancing. He moved his arms through the air like he was moving water. Joy watched him as she passed, so calm, so focused, so present. Present means fully in this moment, not thinking about other things. She thought about how she had felt when the alarm went off, how she had pressed snooze again and again, how her warm bed had felt like the most important thing in the world. And now she was here, walking through a beautiful park in the morning light, her legs tired in a good way, her lungs full of cool air. The bed was still there. It would be there when she came home. But this morning, this park, this feeling would not last. Morning did not wait. If you did not go out to meet it, it passed without you. At the gate, they stopped. "Same time Thursday?" said Pim. Joy looked back at the park, at the trees and the golden light and the path that curved between them. "Yes," she said. "Same time Thursday." She walked home. The streets were busier now, people going to work. A coffee shop was open and she could smell the coffee from the street. She was sweaty and her hair was messy and her legs felt like they belonged to someone older. But she was walking tall. Walking tall means walking with good posture, head up, shoulders back. Posture means the position of the body. She got home. She took off her shoes and looked at them by the door. The same place they had sat for 3 months, but they were different now, used, real. They had small brown marks at the edges and a faint means very slight and barely noticeable, mark of sweat on the inside where her foot had been. She went to the bathroom and showered. The warm water felt incredible after the cool morning air. She washed her hair and stood under the water for a long time, letting the heat work into her tired muscles. She made breakfast. She was hungrier than usual. She cooked 2 eggs and made toast and sliced a mango. She sat at her small table and ate everything. She noticed something while she ate. Her mind was quiet, not empty. Thoughts were still there, but quiet in the way of water that is calm and still, not the busy, anxious quiet of a mind avoiding things, but a settled quiet. Settled means calm and at peace. She had not checked her phone since she woke up. She had been outside for over an hour and had not looked at it once. That almost never happened on normal mornings. She thought about this while she ate her mango. She had gone outside. She had moved her body. She had breathed real air. She had talked to a friend. She had seen the park and the dew and the man with the dog and the Tai Chi man and the golden light in the trees. She had done something hard and finished it. And now her whole day felt different. Not better in a dramatic way, just cleaner. Like the morning had been washed and dried and was ready to be used. She washed her plate. She got dressed for work. She picked up her bag. Before she left, she looked at her shoes one more time. "Thursday," she said to them quietly. Then she smiled and went out the door. The end. Thank you so much for listening to 5 more minutes today. I hope Joy's story felt familiar to you. Many of us have those shoes, that thing we have been meaning to start, that alarm we keep pressing snooze on. That version of ourselves we keep saying we will become tomorrow. The secret is not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. The secret is just putting on the shoes, just going outside, just starting with 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 1 minute. Because once you start, something changes. And the next time is a little easier. And the time after that a little easier still. The park is always there. The morning is always there. The only question is whether you are there too. Until next time, this is Bella on Simple English Talks. Set your alarm. Put out your shoes the night before, and when the alarm goes off, just get up. You will not regret it. Goodbye.